Nice. So we'll dedicate this session to your mom.
Aw, don't, because I might cry. No, you
Oh.
can. You might cry, but go ahead.
So, okay, sorry. I'll start the show. You have stumbled onto another episode of Get Your Fill, Financial Independence and Long Life, where we strive for ways to achieve those two goals and we invite our friends on to help us. And today we're very fortunate to be joined by Kellye Jones. But before I introduce you to her for real, I first want to give a shout out to everybody in Barbados and thank you for listening and making this podcast the #2 podcast in the investment space. I am so honored and thrilled and just really touched and moved by that and excited as well. So I would love to hear whether you're in Barbados or not. I'd love to hear your comments and thoughts and ways that you could like to make the show better. Any kind of topics you'd like to think about for 2021. I'm here for you. So send them in. You can go to getyourfillpodcast.com and leave your comments. Or I think actually that's the only way. You could go on my website, bostonreguru.com, and also leave a comment, but it's probably more appropriate to do it on the podcast website. And also, this is going to be almost the last time that you can take advantage of the 20 for 2020 deal on my book. So if you go on to the getyourfillpodcast.com website, you can go up with the menu and you'll find a place to to buy the book. And it's $20 with that coupon code. So the coupon code you'd put in is 20, the number 4 FOR 2020. So obviously we're running out of 2020. So maybe next should be $21. I don't know, but it's a good deal because the regular price is $32. So that's enough about that. Kellye, thank you so much for joining us today. Kellye, do you want to just say a few words in introduction of the things that you think are most important for people to know about you?
Well, I'm a life coach, certified life coach. I am a researcher, working with understanding anxiety, the onset, escalation, and de-escalation of anxiety. I am a teacher, so everything that I do with teaching, even with the NSF grant opportunity and the life coaching teaching. And I don't know, I love to dance. My students, so I teach, and so my students call me the TikTok teacher.
Awesome. So your life coaching, we talked about this a little bit before, and I want to help people to understand how life coaching differs from social work. I think some people think it might be sort of similar, but I'd like you to help us understand how the two are very different.
Oh, that's an amazing question. You know, as I work with different schools and different individuals, the one thing that I hear is people don't want to work with a coach because they believe that I'm going to diagnose them. And with life coach, basically, we work with people that feel as though they're good. They know that they're good. We know that they have good ideas. And so what we want them to do is use their good ideas to get to whatever the end goal is. So sometimes there's that impasse as to how do I get there, losing creativity, having just getting a little frustrated with some of the impasses, some of the paperwork, different types of things that may come in the way of them reaching their end goal. So it's we are there, we're cheerleaders, but we're also helping them pull out their strengths so that they can move forward. So a licensed social worker is someone who can diagnose. They look at boredom, they look at anxiety, they look at different tendencies that keep people from moving forward. So I'm looking at creativity, whereas they are looking at social behaviors and quantifying them to come up with a diagnosis.
Yeah, it's more of a clinical type of thing.
Like,
The other way I think about it is that you're as a life coach, you're helping people to move toward the good, whereas I almost think of the social workers trying to remove the bad, which is different, philosophically different, I think.
oh, definitely, yeah. So good. I want them to move to the great
Yeah.
because thing
Yeah.
is, if they're moving to the great and they reach good, then they still feel good. So I set the bar kind of high. And with my teaching background, everything comes with a curriculum and some self assessments. but these are like fun self-assessments. So then when people when people finish the self-assessments, they're like, oh wow, can I take another one? I'm like, this is one per session, one per session. But the assessments actually empower them so that the vision that they have doesn't seem so far off. So, the assessments are to say, hey, look, you know what, you've got the skills, you've got the resources. It's just that some of it you've allowed to lie dormant because you may have faced some people who say, it's not that good, or no, 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 no. But now through taking this test what you bring to the table, and you can get to wherever you want to be, you know?
Yeah. Oh, that's beautiful. It's true though, isn't it? That so we often think that everyone else in the world has all of our talents plus their own, right? They think that, well, all the things I admire about them, all the stuff I have, that's just normal. Everybody has that. But in fact, I'm sure the self-assessment helps them to find that, in fact, they're very special and they have talents that they thought were just, right? What everybody is. Oh, everybody's done. Everybody can do that, right?
And you know what the amazing thing is to me when I talk to my clients is, as they do the assessments and they start to talk about their vision or their dream, a lot of times what I'll hear them say to me is, well, I don't know if I should do this, or I don't know if I should be that assertive, or if I should be that forthright in trying to get there. And I'm like, wait a minute, you were a bad,
Yep.
A in the process. So why are you taming it? And so what I find more is people who have tamed that strength, that inner power, that chutzpah, to be something else that's dormant, and they don't even like it. So if they don't like it and they're not excited about it, how can they expect the person they're selling to be excited? So that's what we try to do. I try to work with the fire, the fun, the laughter. I mean, my clients laugh a lot with me because it's not an intimidating experience. It's an empowering experience. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's what to do.
Awesome. So one of the things that as we're kind of putting 2021 to, I mean, sorry,
No, no, no,
boy,
no,
I really got ahead of
I
myself
got
there.
plans for 2021. Slow down, slow down.
I haven't accomplished them all already. Yeah, as we start to kind of package up 2020, and I know, a lot of us make goals, and we may have not 100% reached our financial goals yet, but but we can't live in that space, right? We can't say, oh, I don't have enough yet, I'm not there yet. So, and it's hard, right, to balance that. How do we balance keeping an abundance mindset and keeping our eye on the goal and knowing that we are going to achieve this goal that we have set for ourselves, but at the same time, you want to act as if, but not act as if in a way that's going to put you into debt, right? So like, I know I'm going to be a millionaire, but in the meantime, how can I budget and, budget without making it feel like a scarcity kind of a mindset?
Yeah. So one of the things I always say is, what are you living for? Are you living for a paycheck? Are you living for fun? Are you living for your purpose? I mean, where do you want to be?
Hmm.
And once you determine where you want to be, that is how you will move forward in your decision making. So I know for me, I want to laugh. Like I'm that 53-year-old who wants to skydive, roller skate. I was zip line. I want to do all that stuff.
Yeah.
So in order to get to that point of doing those things that I want to do, there's certain other things that I have to make less of a priority in the process,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
So if my purpose is to be this vibrant life coach, because nobody wants to go to a life coach, like, yeah, right? Oh yeah, come on, you can do it. You got it. Then I got to do the stuff that fuels me. And
Absolutely.
so I have to look at, hey, my end goal is to be a successful, vibrant life coach, right? And then beyond that, in order to get to that, how do I fuel me? So I have to allocate monies for the fuel. I allocate monies for the training to be the best that I can be as far as a coach. And then some of that other stuff cannot be a priority at this time.
Yeah.
So I think that's how I talk to people about just having joy in 2020, financially, physically, all these other things. I was talking to one person who was telling me about what she should do, what she ought to do with regards to weight. I said, but yeah, you should have oughta for 3 years now, and you still haven't. So shoulda oughta is somebody else's goal, somebody else's vision. What's your vision? And when we start to talk about your vision, then the finances start to make more sense.
Yeah, it's true. It's hard to like use weight as an example. If I just know, oh, I can't eat that stuff today, I can't buy that thing today, I can't do this today, that's not the right mindset, right? You're never going to be able to be excited and joyful and thrilled and, empowered by thinking that way. But you're thinking like, this decision that I'm making, right, to not eat this beautiful pastry or to not buy this thing I don't need, I'm excited that I'm making this decision because it's getting me one step closer to my goal. Yeah.
Yeah, and sometimes that pastry is to fill a void, is
Yes.
to fill an emptiness. So I will tell you this, I used to eat very, very bland food. Like I'm telling you, like if it was raw, it was me. And what happened was I developed this strong knack for, or a strong desire for salt, like cheese. Like I had to have cheese. I was dying to have cheese because of the saltiness. And I was working with a nutrition life coach, and she said, Kellye, it's not the cheese that you want, it's the salt that you want. So I started to put more salt on my food, and I started to realize I no longer have a craving for cheese. Well, I take the same thing with finances and some of the ambitions and goals you have, even the diet. I think that sometimes we supplement that void with, let me put it with food, let me infuse my emptiness or my void with food, instead
Mhm.
of saying, you know what, that emptiness, that void, let me fill it with my dream, my vision, a side business, whatever it may be,
Yeah.
something that's,
Friends and activities and, fun and happiness. Yeah, absolutely.
and something that's measurable,
Yeah.
right? Right? So measurable, quantifiable. I put 10% in, I got 5% out. I put 10% in, I got 20% out.
Yeah.
I always talk to um, what is the end goal and what strides are you going to do to make that? So I'll tell you this. So as a teacher, um, I don't know why like the roughest and toughest kids like me, and I am not a rough and tough person. I'm like the olive oil, right, of teaching, right? And so they always come to me. But the thing is, they can be they can be in another class. Like I'm teaching math, and they'll come to me with their science, and they want to do their science in my math class because, like, I guess I don't know. I guess I'm funny or something, or maybe I'll do a TikTok. But the thing is, what happens is I keep them so engaged in their strengths, right? And their in purpose. And for my students, the in purpose is if you finish your assignments 10 minutes early, then you do 10 minutes of TikTok or 10 minutes on the phone. So, I mean, I'm like Mother Teresa, Saint Mary, all the rest when I say that to my students.
I bet.
So engaged in what they need to do to get to the end goal until they're not thinking about getting on the phone in the process. They're not thinking about running out, nobody wants to run out, go to the bathroom. Nobody wants to go get water because they're engaged. And so when we're not engaged and excited about stuff, we go to what deems exciting, you know?
Yeah.
Um, I'm going to be kind of corny, but McDonald's apple pie, that was my treat. My dad and I used to always do McDonald's apple pie. So you know what? I'm bored. Oh my God, I'm so bored. Oh God, I really, really want that apple pie. Oh, but you know what? I need you to go ahead and finish working on your book. Okay, I'll go work on my book. Not even a thought about my apple pie
Yeah.
because
You
I'm
get in the
engaged
zone.
in something that's purposeful.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Once you get in the zone and you get your head in the right place, then all that other, it's just noise, right? It's really just noise.
Yeah, yeah, in the zone.
Yeah. Exactly. Woo.
Oh, don't make me dance. Don't make me dance. I feel it coming on. Don't do the woo woo because I'll do the woo woo.
That could be a whole different kind of podcast,
I was gonna say we'll be doing the woo woo.
That's a good point, actually. If you want to see us talking rather than just hear us on the podcast, you can always go to either my YouTube channel, which is bostonariguru.com, or there's always a link to the video wherever you saw the description of the podcast. So if we do get into dancing, you
Yeah,
might
we can
have
do
to
woo
go
woo.
find the video.
I feel it. I'm looking at you, Chris. We're going the same way. We're rocking.
Exactly. Whoa,
Go, Chris. Go, Chris.
So you mentioned your book. Tell us about your book.
Oh my goodness, I'm so excited. So this is my second book. It's called Forward.
Cool.
basically it's a guidebook. As a teacher, I'm always teaching. And my cousin, who's one of my toughest critics, I love him to death. I love him so much. But he's one of my like, very transparent persons, called me today and said it was a really good book. I don't want to start crying, but
Oh,
if
congratulations,
I
right?
were
When
to
you went
tell
over
you
the,
that there was a hero or somebody that I really, really looked up to, I mean, like I just love him. He's a godsend. He has really been a godsend to me. So basically what he was saying to me is he says a really good introduction um, to life coaching, the opportunity for the benefits of it, and it makes it less fearful. It's less intimidating. So he thought that it was a very easy read, and he loved my book.
oh, that's great.
So that is really
Congratulations.
good. Yeah. So I in the whole teaching format, it's three simple phases that I use. One is envision it. Go back to that point of where you can envision it.
Hmm.
Create that environment that's receptive to you exploring what you want to do,
Hmm.
and then map it. Come up with a strategic plan to achieve it. Um, and then after you're mapping it, like go get it. Sometimes we talk about it and we talk about it and we hem it off. Go get it. You
Do
know,
it.
Yeah, I can't say Nike, just do it.
Yeah.
My key is EMG, is um, envision it, map it, and go get it. So EMG, hashtag EMG.
Oh, great.
Yeah,
And
until
when
I
you
find
say
out
map
somebody else
it, is that,
does it. When I say map it, plan it out. So,
yeah,
so
so like a mind map or like just kind of more like a road map?
more like a roadmap. I'm Pareto's principle. I'm 80% planner, 20% execution.
Hmm.
So that when I leave, when I'm ready to do it, I'm on fire and I'm gonna nail it.
Yeah.
you know
Yeah.
and so when I leave, there's no way that you can tell me, I mean, you could tell me that I'm wrong, but I'm going to prove that I am right. But the thing is, I've invested so much time and energy into understanding all the different aspects of it until I can just go forward. And
Yeah.
so I want my clients to feel like they have that type of power and that type of wherewithal. So remember, they came to me because they were kind of deflated or iffy or questioning what the um, what the outcome would be of their venture, right?
Yeah.
So by working with me, I mean, like when I tell you my clients are like on fire because they know that they're equipped, and we mapped out a process of finding out what they bring to the table, what they have available, where they can go. Like they know. Um, so yeah, that's what my book is about. It kind of takes them through it. And if people feel like, because it's a wealth of information, even though it's an easy read, if people feel like they are reading a lot, and they want some help or some guidance with it, then of course there's Forward Life Coaching, um, that they can look into. And I found out there's another Forward Life Coaching. So but
Oh,
anyway,
really? Oh,
yeah,
well,
yeah,
it is a logical name.
I was thinking about tweaking it or whatever, um, but they can go to Forward Life Coaching, Kellye Jones, Kellye Jones, um, and they can get assistance, or to you with finance to get assistance in getting through those areas where there's a lot of information and they want to figure out how to move forward. So you can take as little in as you want or as much as you want, um, in reading the book.
Nice. Nice. Now, is it already out? Where can we get it?
So I'm supposed to be publishing it this week. So Monday I'm going to put it in the hopper, I think you call it. What is it when you do something? My business partner always says the hopper. I think it's the hopper. Um, so it will be in the hopper on Monday. I just I'm 9/10 there with the cover. I feel like I feel like the picture makes me look old.
Really? Oh, I thought
Oh
it was a beautiful
God.
picture. I thought you
Oh, you
looked
like
really
the picture?
real.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, see, I felt as though I don't know if it makes me look as vibrant as I am, but
Well, it's
maybe
hard for a two-dimensional, you know, image to capture that unless you were actually like jumping up in the air or something like that. But
yeah. Or I could put you and I on the cover in animation doing the whoop whoop.
yeah, there you go.
Whoop, 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 whoop. But yeah, so that it's just the cover. Everything else is done. The book is written, the bibliographies. I've got the stamp of approval from my cousin Frazier. And yeah.
So in your evolution, what is there one thing that really stands out to you as something that you're the most proud? Something that when you think about it, you think, wow, it's hard for me to do that. And I'm really impressed with myself.
You know what? I'm gonna say for life coaching is probably well, it's kind of two things combined. Two things combined. So I have been life coaching since 1994. As
Wow.
a as a deaconess at my church, and then also through various programs, because whenever there was a child who was disruptive, everybody just sent them to me. So I've been doing that. So then get this. Wait, are you ready for this? So you're not only coaching the child, you're now life coaching the parent.
Yeah,
So I was always doing the twofold of the parent, and then sometimes the parents were having, marital problems. So I was actually coaching the husband and the wife and the kid. So I've always been at that in that environment. And then sometimes there were elderly people who did not have grandchildren. So I would partner or kids around. So I partner the grandparent with or the elderly person with the child to
great.
give them that that foster grandparent. But in the process, now I'm actually working with the grandparent as well. So multitude of people. So it's something that I've always been doing. I've always liked to see people smile. My dream was to be Julie McCoy. So I imagine me going to UNC Chapel Hill telling them, what do you want to major? Julie McCoy? Julie McCoy. So I've always wanted to do that. The second part is so now I'm living my dream, right? Because the life coaching is kind of like that Julie McCoy, helping them work through different opportunities. And then the second part of my dream, which is so powerful, is my major in college was speech communications. And I always heard little things like little snide marks, like that's the easy degree and all this other kind of stuff. So I minored in econ, which I hated, but but I could do it. And then I started doing my master's in education at Liberty University, right? And so because for the grant that I'm working on, well, the next grant, not this phase, the next phase, I really should have a master's. So I started working on my master's in education, and I got the B. I'm qualified with regards to grades, but I kept dropping the classes because I just hated them. I was like, God, this is boring. I don't want to do this. I don't want to be here. I don't want to be here. And they're like, but you're a teacher and you're really good. And sometimes it doesn't make a difference what your skill set is if that's not where you ultimately want to be. Your skill set may be your tool to master what it is that you want to do, right? And so, like at my first week after my CLC graduation, I had a curriculum. they're like, you got a curriculum? I was like, yeah, I'm a teacher. But I really wanted to continue in communications because communications deals with conflict resolution. So this is a person who is working for a company and cannot communicate with their boss what their needs are. This is a couple that can't communicate what their needs are. This is an employer who can't communicate to his employees what the proper process is to proceed. This is a whatever who cannot communicate on a public forum. So when I did it in college, it was actually to work in the political arena. I wanted to work with a political campaign. It was it was a long time ago. It was 19 blah, blah, blah. And I wanted to work on a political campaign, not because I was so much interested in the candidates. I just wanted to be on TV, right? So I noticed that the people that,
You have a goal. Nothing wrong with
hey,
that.
just being transparent. So I was like, God, if I could work on a campaign, I could be on TV. I want to do this. So that was why I wound up majoring in speech communications, and my teachers liked me, so they allowed me to lead programs. I was the very first undergraduate TA for speech 81, which was a legal ethics course. So we were bringing in attorneys for CLE credit. And we were bringing, and it was 120 students, and there were 12 TAs, and I was one of them. So, but my communications teachers kept pushing me because they liked my energy and my presentation. So I'm very proud of myself that I have now transferred from a education major to a communications major, and I don't have to drop my class anymore.
Excellent. Congratulations.
Yeah,
Congratulations.
yeah. I mean, I would literally like get into a class for 2 weeks and then be like, I'm not doing this.
Yeah. It's funny, when I was young, I thought I wanted to be an accountant of all things. I mean, God, talk about boring dream. Everyone else is like, I want to be a ballerina or whatever, or I want to be president. And I'm like, oh, I want to be an accountant. And I took a cost accounting class and I got my first D ever. And I said, Chris, you are just not cut out to be an accountant.
It was your first college class?
It was called cost accounting. And
So
it
was it
was
college or high school?
in college. Yeah.
Oh, can I just tell you something? I love math. I always excelled in math. I got math. It was like 1, 2, 3, right? My freshman year in college, they gave me the 8 o'clock class for math, right? And so I lived all the way on the other side of campus. So I had to walk all the way from the other side of campus, and you just name it, layers on top of layers on top of layers. And then I had it was like Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Thursday night, everybody went out to party, right? So I was like literally like this in class. And so I didn't do very well. I think I got the doorknob grade, whatever letter doorknob begins with, right? And, I don't know. So anyway, my parents were like, Kellye, we can't understand why you didn't do well in math. Like, you're so good at math. Like, you always excelled in math. But they gave all the freshmen 8 o'clock, the 8 a.m. slot. I mean, really?
Yeah.
Really?
Forget
Plus, it
that.
goes to the other side of campus. So I just I developed a distaste for math after that. I mean, I was like, no need to go back. I'll take my second math class and I'm out.
Yeah, it's
And then I
funny because
switched
I'm good
careers.
at math too, the same thing, but I just didn't, I just found that, and it might have been the presentation. I don't know what it was about it, but I just found it deathly boring. And, like you, I couldn't get excited about it. I couldn't care about it. And it wasn't even at 8 in the morning. I just figured out that wasn't my calling, right? You need something more dynamic and exciting, like speech,
Yeah,
communication.
yeah. And I'm an audio learner. So the simple fact that I'm an audio learner and I was falling asleep during the class. I mean, like, I literally, it would be like, okay, class is over. Oh, wow. Oh, yeah. So because I'm an audio learner, I missed a lot of the lesson. So I can read it and I can write it, but that's not my gift.
Yeah,
So if I go to every class and I hear what's going on, I'm good. I'm good. I mean, I still need to study and etc., but I need that foundation.
yeah, yeah. And it wasn't happening. You found out you can't do math in your sleep, so there you go. Right?
I tried.
Oh boy. So as people are, packaging up 2020, and a lot of things have happened, right? I mean, this has been, no matter what no, I have talked to a lot of people who have thrived in 2020 and a lot of people who have, just really not enjoyed it at all. But I don't think for anyone would say it was business as usual, right? So whether you were loving 2020 or hating it, as we're packaging it up and putting it away, and getting ready for 2021, what advice do you have for people? I mean, anything that you think we need to focus on and make sure that we're considering and processing?
Use this time to get to know you. I think the people who are disappointed the most are people who are living for other people, living dreams for other people. Um, I find when people find who they really want to be and what they really want to do, um, nothing holds them back. And they realize that certain things are just circumstantial. It's just a part of life. It's just something that's going to happen.
Yeah.
But it doesn't keep them from reaching their ultimate goal. You know, you know where you want to go, you know what you want to do, and you keep moving forward. So I say figure out who you are, figure out what you want to do. Um, but more so importantly, figure out who you are. Love you. Fall in love with yourself again because you are doggone amazing. So once you fall in love with you, it's all good
Mm.
because that's all peripheral stuff. That doesn't change the amazing person that you are and the amazing stuff that you bring to the table, your uniqueness, your innovation, just your oomph.
That's beautiful. I can see why you're such a great life coach, Kellye, because you really just, are very positive and empowering and just, helping people, like you say, fall in love with yourself. That's fantastic advice. So many of you just, it's so, just like in any relationship, right? It just gets boring. You got to like go on a date with yourself, right? Wake yourself up and remind yourself how awesome you are.
You get dressed and look in the mirror and be like, I'm pretty damn hot.
Right?
See me, I look good, you know? So there was a funny story is, there was a time period in my life where I did not feel pretty. And so I would not look in the mirror. And one of my friends from college from UNC said, Kellye, you are a bad girl, bad A, bad. Am I allowed to say that on your show?
Go for it. Go for
Okay.
it.
So he's
Speak
like,
freely.
Kellye, you are a badass. And I was like, no, I'm this, no, I'm that. He's like, look in the mirror. And I would look in the mirror and I would look down and I would cry because I didn't feel pretty.
Oh.
And so we would talk. We would talk. And he would say, he would say, send me a selfie. And so I would send him a selfie. He said, go home and take that S off, get dressed, and then come back out again. Don't you ever leave the house like that again. I did not feel pretty. So I just put on a lot of stuff. And so I had all these clothes in my house so I could keep masking what I didn't want to see. But then when you feel good about yourself, you don't need a closet full of clothes.
Right.
You know the top 10 outfits that you get compliments on. So if number 11 doesn't give you a compliment, why are you going to wear it?
Yeah.
One of my best friends from growing up worked for Condé Nast, and she Honey magazine, and she styles several celebrities, etc. And she told me, she said, Kellye, 10 of everything, 10 skirts, 10 dresses, 10 jackets, 10 pants or suits or whatever, 10 of everything, right? Well, I haven't quite gotten down to 10. Can we do an exponent with that, right? So she said, do 10 of everything. And she said, only wear what makes you feel good. So if you have to wear that same thing that makes you feel good, to every single conference and just change the necklace or, wear white pants instead of black pants, wear that, because that's when you are going to engage with people. You're going to go out, you're going to network, you're going to be able to talk about what you're doing, you're going to be able to hear what other people say, because sometimes we can't hear what other people say because we're too conscious of, oh my God, is that too tight? Or do they see this? Oh my gosh. And so when you're conscious of all that stuff, it doesn't work. It doesn't work.
It's
So
true. Yeah, it's true. I mean, if you're sitting there thinking, someone's talking, you're thinking, oh, I can't wait to get home and, get these tight pants off, or can't wait to get out of these shoes, or do you think they notice that, whatever, something's wrong? You're too internally focused and you can't listen. You can't really be an engaged listener. You're right. You're too much in your own head.
yeah. Or you could do the flip side, because I used to be a trainer for Sindon. I used to train new people who just purchased a hotel. I was training the new owners in these 7 to 10 day classes. Now, keep in mind, we're talking about millionaires, billionaires. They got 10, 15 hotels. The last thing they want to do is sit through another hotel class just because it's a different brand, right? So, I've got, and some of them came from other countries. So there was a language barrier and all this other kind of stuff, and et cetera, et cetera. So what I would do is, because they were clowns, they worked hard, but they were clowns, right? So we laughed a lot in our class, right? Oh, we were doing Simon Says and the Hokey Pokey and all this other in between lessons, right? To keep them engaged. And so I remember one day I had come to work and I had a run in my stockings, and they called me they were like, I was a little bit more conservative than my peers as far as dress, as far as attire for work. Mm-hmm. So they knew me as the conservative one to wear something a little bit more whatever. Mm-hmm. And so, so I had this run in my stockings, right? And so I walked in, I stood up, and I put my leg out like this so they could see the run in my stocking. I said, so you guys now have 2 minutes to talk about the run in my leg. 2 minutes, go for anything you want to say. I'm all ears, right? So after the 2 minutes were ended, right? And they went for everything, right? Yeah. And so at the end of the 2 minutes, we were able to refocus and get back to work. So what I say is, if you are in an embarrassing situation and you go someplace, and let's say you've got a stain on your shirt, the first thing you say is, hey, look, you know what? I want to let you guys know that and you're presenting, you're a presenter or whatever. Hey, look, I want to let you know beforehand that I just spilled this on my shirt. I do not have any Tide spots or anything like that. So if it's bothering you guys, I can do like this. But if not, are we good? And they were like, oh, you're so silly. Why are you worried about spot? Da, 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 da. But when you bring it to light, you make humor of it, you give it a time frame, right? Then you can move forward.
Yeah.
So even with, we're talking about the tight clothes and stuff like that. If there is something that you're uncomfortable with, I say, bring it up and list it. Bring it up, but then after you bring it up, confine it and say, okay, good. I'm glad we talked about it. Okay, let's keep moving. And don't bring it up again. Let it go. Let
Yeah.
it go.
Yeah. Yeah, it's true. I mean, rather than pretending, hoping nobody sees it, and then it's all in your mind the whole time, just to say, look, I want, like what you did is beautiful. Like, I'm going to bring this to your attention. I have a flaw. I want you all to know it. And then we're going to, like you say, we're going to talk about it. We're going to move on, or just, now you don't have to be sitting there wondering, oh, does she have a run in her stockings? Is that what, just nope. We're moving on right now.
My students wouldn't have said she has a run in stockings. They'd be like, you have a run in your stockings. And then after that one said it, like a minute later, another one said, oh, but you have a run in your stockings. So I'm telling you, they were geniuses that own, like I said, 10 hotels, etc. But they wanted to laugh because everything was so intense.
Yeah.
So because of that, we did our lesson, we did our work, but beyond doing the work, we also laughed. And I think as long as you keep that humor and that love of life, like I said, the stuff that's around you is stuff that's around you. And no matter where you go, no matter what you do, there's always going to be stuff around you.
Absolutely. And you're going to focus on that, or are you going to move on and get on with your life? And because it is all attitude. It's funny. I told somebody this story the other day, and I don't know why what you just said made me think about it. But I guess just because two people being in the same situation, how they could you deal with it so much differently. I was sitting, just like park bench type of thing, just sitting, eating my lunch, and there was some construction going on across the street. And so it was a little ways away, but I was just kind of watching, people watching, how you do while you're eating lunch. And this lady walked by the construction site. And of course, all the guys are hooting and, making their little stupid comments. And she just was like, yeah, ha, 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 and just kept walking, waved to them and just smiled and kept walking. And then, another person came by and they basically just ignored them. Another person came by, same thing, like everyone who went by, they had a comment because they're bored, right? They're just out there doing their thing and being guys and stuff. And another woman went by and she was very, very upset. She said, she was like yelling at them and, you're being chauvinist pigs, and how can you be so? And I just thought, as I've watched each person experiencing really the exact same thing, the exact same comments, and how each person just internalized it so differently. Like the first person, I felt like she was, like thinking, hi, just another person admiring me, and the next person, was just in their own world, didn't even realize. And then this one's just like, oh, these people are abusing me. And I thought, wow, I don't know, just how it's what we bring to the table was what I was trying to say. And the way you presented your run in your stockings, you're bringing to the table your confidence and your transparency. And that just defines how how people are going to react to you, right?
Right. Right. But you know what? Self-perception is a killer. I tell you, my ex-husband and I, it was like 3 or 4 couples. We would always go out to dinner, right? And so we like, so my dad always taught me to tip the appropriate amount, tip 15%. That's it.
Yeah.
You know, if you can't tip 15, then tip more than 15, meaning like if you don't, the dollars, the change, etc. If you don't know what
Right.
the
Yeah.
number is,
Yeah.
calculate 15. I think that's why I did well in math, because I always calculate
All that
15.
tipping.
Oh, yeah, really. So calculate 15. And if it's $15.06 and you only have $16, give them the 16, right? So I would go out with my friends and they didn't have the same beliefs in tipping. And they'd be like, yeah, no matter what happens, Kelly's gonna tip him, Kelly's gonna tip him. And so I remember one day we went to a restaurant, and it was actually my favorite restaurant. And the waitress was, I can't remember, she was like, if she wasn't timely or she wasn't friendly, but it was something below par with regards to expectations, right?
Yeah.
And so when we went to when the dinner was over, right? I never complained about my plate, never anything. When the dinner was over, I pulled her to the side, to our table.
Yeah.
And I said, listen, I said, I want to tell you something. I said, the service that you gave today was beneath what we expected. I said, we're all disappointed. I said, but if the other people at the table don't make up your 15%, I said, I'll make sure you get 15%. Don't worry about that. I said, the reason why I'm going to give you 15% is because I know that your manager did not hire you with this type of persona. So I know that you have more in you and I expect more of you. But what I want you to do is take this advice. Like I said, this is just you and our table. Take this advice and make sure that the next table you approach them differently. Because I'm quite sure you have, rent and car payment and the rest that you want to pay. And these tips are important. And so, everybody, oh, there goes Kellye, being nice, being nice, being nice, being nice. But the reality is sometimes self-perception um, can be skewed. We have off days. We have challenges. Um, you know.
Yeah. The more I speak to you, Kellye, the more I like you. I just think that
You
is so
like me.
beautiful.
I like you. I like you. You're my woo woo girl.
We be dancing. All right.
So,
Yeah. No,
yeah.
that's because it's true. I haven't done this in many, many years, but you reminded me that there was one time where same sort of thing. I had just horrific service and I wrote a long letter on the napkin about like areas for improvement, some suggestions.
Oh, you're the teacher. You are the teacher. Oh my gosh. Go ahead.
Oh, it's so funny. Yeah, I was very young then. I haven't not done that in a very long time. Oh, that's so funny. You reminded me of that. Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
Okay,
especially
so
where we need napkins and paper right now. No, I'm just kidding.
yeah. I'll be back next week to make sure and check on you. Make sure you did these things. Um, so we're coming up to the end of our time. I want to be respectful of your time and make sure we stay within our hour and respectful of the listeners' time. Although it's so weird now with COVID, I don't know. I mean, it used to be that the ideal time for podcasts was 20 minutes because that was the average commute time. So like 22 minutes was every podcast. And
Wow.
now it's just like, who's going anywhere? You can listen
Food
anywhere.
chair.
Sorry.
Food chair. Get some coffee.
Yeah.
What the heck?
But yeah,
Genealogy. I'm just kidding.
so what sort of parting comments, what advice, what you want to make sure that we know about you? I mean, you've given us your website, but why don't you give us again how people can get in touch with you? And then some other little pearl of wisdom, if there is one that you'd like to bestow on the listeners for their 2021 advice.
Okay, excellent. So again, my name is Kellye Jones. I have a Facebook page. My Facebook page is Forward Consulting. I'm sorry, Forward Life Coaching. Oh gosh, here we go. The first thing
What's my
it's
name
old
again?
age. It's old age. No, I'm just kidding. So it's Forward Life Coaching, and I also have a website. Oh gosh, I wish I could look it up real quick. I should know that it's kind of funny letters, but it's like a Webador. It's Webador. But I will give it to you in a second. And what is my pearl? My pearl is get to know yourself. Get to know who you are. Don't let others define you because others don't know the intricacies of you. Get to know you and find out just how awesome you are. That's
Beautiful.
my
That's a
that's
wonderful way to start 2021.
yeah.
It's so weird
Woo-hoo.
thinking about this year ending. I think we all had so many whatever ideas and dreams and goals for 2020 and so many things just were so different than I think what any of us imagined. It's very strange, but
You know what? 2020 is a platform for whatever comes next,
yeah,
you know? So if you
yeah,
look at it as that nesting place or that like I said, just that place where you developed certain skills, certain strengths that are going to propel you to the next level. Think of how many people have started new businesses,
yeah,
how many people have gotten engaged, married, made babies. I mean, all these other kind of things. So many things to push forward an amazing 2021, right? If
Absolutely.
if you look at it as an opportunity instead of an obstacle, and then you look at what you have within you,
Yeah,
it's amazing. It's
exactly.
it's fire.
Fire. Look out. Look out. She's on
And
fire.
I fire.
So all of the links that Kellye talked about that are going to be within the description of the podcast. So the
Thank
link
you.
to your website, send me that, and I'm going to make sure that everybody has access to it. So if you're listening and you just want to know, like, what did she, what are they talking about? And if you go actually to getyourfillpodcast.com, in addition to all the links and stuff, you'll also find a transcript. So if you want to, I do my best trying to,
And you didn't even have to write the notes.
yeah, but I try to, after the fact, you have to go back and, you kind of have to edit the transcript. And sometimes I'm thinking, like, sometimes I think, what were we talking about? And sometimes I think, what did this thing hear? Which is nothing like what we were talking about, and the stuff that the editor, it's like a machine listener thing that transcribes the words, and you think, what was it talking about? But anyway, I
Yeah.
digress.
And I hope I said the right thing, because it's only a couple days away from Christmas. I've been good all through 2020. I don't want to mess up now with Santa. I want to keep it going. So I hope I did the right thing.
Yeah. I have to tell you, it is, when we're recording this, it is the 19th of December, and I have, like, I want to say, like, 3 presents. I mean, I'm so, and actually, if you're watching the video and you're wondering what the heck is going on here, my house has been under construction for the better part of this year, and they sanded the floors in the living room because I really want to put up a tree. And so I rushed getting that room done, and I still need to paint the ceilings and the walls. And so in the meantime, my couch, as Kellye said, I'm starting a new trend here. I think soon everyone will be doing it. They'll have their furniture upended in their bedroom. So in my bedroom, I have my couch, or actually just a love seat, and another chair, and the carpet that's going to go on the floor, all just sort of sitting in my bedroom now. I mean, if there's like a tremor, I'm going to be buried with furniture. But yes, so,
But you will have your tree.
but I have my tree. It's on the deck right now. I
So
want to
you
bring
will
it
have
into
your
the
tree.
house, but first I have to paint. So, but yeah, so that's just distracted me so much that I haven't really, it's like unreal to me that Christmas is like next Friday. So
Yeah. Yeah.
I feel bad for the people who I'm, not doing a good job shopping for right now.
I think my daughter and I had a tradition, and we have not done it. Just forgive me, God. We have not done it for the past couple of like 2 years maybe. But our tradition is we go get the wire and the beads, and we make beaded bracelets for the moms at the Ronald McDonald House,
Oh,
so that
wow.
they have an additional Christmas present while they're away from home. So we would do that every year. We were doing pillows, and then my daughter got allergic to the cotton, and we're getting the cotton and stuff and everything, and all of a so this may not be something we want to continue with
Yeah.
much longer.
What
But
can we do
we're doing
differently?
pillows every month, and then we went to the beaded bracelets, and playing bingo once a month. But that was prior to my daughter going to college. So once she went to college, we just did Christmas. So yeah, we need to get the beads and drop them off at the Ronald McDonald House. And
Wow. That is so nice. How thoughtful. Awesome.
it's a season of giving.
It is a season of giving. You're absolutely right. And, the heck was trying to rack my brain about what to get for all these crazy, relatives who already have everything. I'm going to just, like, maybe I'll give them each a letter and say, a donation was made in your name. That's what I should do.
Oh, my daughter, when she was younger, she made us do the Dollar Tree for everybody for Christmas, right? And so because we were doing the Dollar Tree for everybody for Christmas, it just kind of became the tradition to do the Dollar Tree. So it wasn't that, like, my parents didn't have, or anybody didn't have. Everybody just did the Dollar Tree. So it was kind of funny because one time we took this picture. under of the Christmas tree. And it was like boatloads of gifts underneath the Christmas tree, right? And it was like, me and I had my ex-husband, I had divorced at that time. So it was me and my 3 kids. And and there was all these gifts, and I'm like, wow, somebody's doing well this year, or blah 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 blah. And my daughter, my daughter was like, see, Ma, I told you we should go to the Dollar Tree. I told you we should go to the Dollar Tree. So that was kind of like our little hack. So we do one big gift, and beyond the one big gift, everything comes from the Dollar Tree, or like five and below, or something like that. Because a lot of things you buy during the year, and it just creates clutter.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. The Dollar Tree has some cool stuff. You never know what you're going to find there.
Yeah, yeah. Well, look, I get all my daughter just buys me figures. So I collect elephants. I love elephants. So my daughter always goes and looks for elephants. And believe it or not, typically she's able to find at least one elephant from the Dollar Tree.
Really?
So yeah, I love, love, love
Cool.
elephants. So and
They're
just
good
by the
there.
way, I didn't tell you. You know what my favorite place to vacation is?
Mm-mm. Barbados?
Barbados. I
Woohoo!
love Barbados. Yeah. So Barbados, Sam Lard's Castle, the After Dark. So I have not been there in a while, in like a long, long while. Probably like 20 years, because my kids and all that other kind of stuff. But that was my favorite place to go. Yeah. And
Wow.
I went
So then
to
it's perfect that we
cricket
made this
game.
announcement today.
Yeah, I went to a cricket game, and my mom's friend was the Minister of Agriculture, Lindsay Bolden.
Wow.
So yeah, so his kids, or his nieces and nephews, Sydney and Artie, were like my best friends, and the one that worked for Condé Nast were my best friends, and their parents were my parents' best friends, and so yeah, we went to Barbados, and my mom's other really good friend, her name is Pat Harris. She is from Her family's from Barbados, so yeah, so peas and rice and curry food, and um, yeah, and Baxter Street and all the other kind of stuff. So yeah, I love Barbados.
Oh, perfect. Perfect. Awesome. I've never been. So I'm hoping that now that we have this exciting distinction, that maybe somebody will say, and this is a note to all people in Barbados, if you want to see us in person,
Doodle whoop whoop.
have like an event. Let's have a Barbadoan. What's the proper way of saying people from Barbados?
Bayesian,
What is it?
Bayesian,
Bayesian.
Bayesian.
Thank you. I never knew that. So let's have a Bayesian event, and we'll
Yeah,
like get together, and we'll have like bring together some really cool people who have been on the podcast, and we'll make like an event of it. I'm looking
and,
forward to someone contacting me about that. And we can put that together as one of our fun things to do in 2021.
and we could do a life coaching series.
Absolutely.
So you can do finance, I can do transition. Bring somebody in to do nutrition,
Yeah.
and that's a major, major event.
Yeah.
Really and truly, when you think about that. Um,
Potentially life changing. Absolutely.
yeah. So what I didn't, well, yeah. So that would be really awesome. So I love Barbados. Oh, Brown Sugar restaurant. I think it's Brown Sugar restaurant that we used to go to.
All right. Well, when we go, you can take me there, or I'll take you there as a thank you for being on the podcast.
Cool. Cool.
And thank you everybody for listening wherever you are in the world. I really am very, very grateful to you for listening. And I'm very much looking forward to your feedback and your comments on the getyourfillpodcast.com website. I don't know if there's anything else important that I need to say right now,
Thank
but
you so
anyway,
much, Christine. This was
thank
an
you,
awesome
Kellye. It's just
experience.
been so great meeting you virtually, and hope soon we can meet in person and
Yes, in Barbados.
in Barbados. We'll have a
Barbados.
rendezvous in Barbados.
Yes, 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 yes.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, it's been really great meeting you. And thank you very, very much for all your true pearls of wisdom. I think you just had such great, I just love your attitude. Just love your attitude.
Thank you.
All right.